yet we cannot facilitate these people correctly. Right Honorable Speaker, the qualifications of the RDCs, it has become a dumping ground. Whoever fails in politics go to be an RDC. I think it's not the right thing to do, Right Honorable Speaker. About the size and the population, yes, we have made the poor planning. Districts are much bigger than others, and the equity is not there. Right Honorable Speaker, the other issue is about poverty alleviation. I don't know if, Chair, you visit those villages, and maybe you can give us the highlights. Because, in my view, poverty is growing. We are doing it the negative way. Why am I saying this? When you go to our villages, Right Honorable Speaker, you look at the levels of poverty. If we are to be sincere to ourselves, people are selling their pieces of land to the rich people. The gap between the rich and the poor in this country has really increased. What evidence do we have? Speaker, I saw you one time trying to see how the children of the poor people can access university education. And really, I felt very well that there is someone who can talk sense in this country to that level. Why am I saying this? When we are still young, we would go to school, same schools with the children of the rich people. I'm lucky that I came from a moderate family. But today, my child cannot go to the same school with a person in my local village. That shows that instead of alleviating poverty, the gap is increasing. Actually, what we're seeing in this country, Right Honorable Speaker, is economic growth, but economic development is not there. Growth, you can see buildings going up, you can see many vehicles, but the same people who own these buildings are the same people who own the cars. The poor are getting poorer, the rich are getting richer. Actually, we need time as Parliament to be sincere to ourselves and tell to ourselves that what we are saying in most cases is what is not in our minds. Go to your villages and see. People are poor. They cannot access medical facilities. Is it not true? Children are dropping out of school, out of the 1 million that goes to school. Be sure that only 20 will reach P7. Really, let us be sincere. Whatever it costs us, but we say the truth that we see on the ground. So poverty alleviation, Chair, I don't know if you visit.
Thank you.
Chankwanzi, it was allocated 7.5 billion. Right Honorable Speaker, Chankwanzi, it was turned into a party facility, especially the party in government. And I don't know why we burden Ugandans with all this money to modernize and rehabilitate Chankwanzi. Right Honorable Speaker, how are you wish?
Point of order.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable. Put the leader of opposition to notice. As I talk now, my town clerk of Arua City, whom I do not know, subscribe to which party is for leadership training in Chankwanzi. And that leadership institute is for every Ugandan. So therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, is the leader of opposition in order to say that that institute only belongs to one party? Is he in order? Thank you very much.
Thank you. A question from him. Honorable, has your party written to the response? why is Honorable Batua near it? Yes, has your party written to the responsible office to request to be given an opportunity to train their leaders from Chankwanzi, and it has not been granted?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. You can hardly see any other political party apart from the party in government in Chankwanzi. My brother...
No, but I asked a question. It was a simple question to guide me, because I must rule. You see, when there is a point of order, I must rule. So I wanted to hear from your side. So, have you ever applied, you belong to NUP, have you ever applied?
Right Honorable, there is a day when we are celebrating 4 years as the existence of NUP, and we wrote to government to use Kololo airstrip. They told, no, I'm coming, I'm building my point, please, listen. And what the response we got from government, that they are doing rehabilitation. But after some few days, we saw a government activity taking place. I'm coming to your question, Right Honorable Speaker. I beg your protection.
Please,
I beg your
you're
protection.
protected.
Yes.
Honorable.
After receiving the letter, and they said that now Kololo was under rehabilitation, then we saw a government activity going on. For the question you have asked, Right Honorable Speaker, that have we ever applied to use Nali? Yes, we have ever, but they have never replied us up to now.
Please,
I have that letter with us at the Secretariat. At a good moment, I'll bring it to your office.
On Tuesday, give me a copy of received letter. Okay?
I think
a received copy.
A received copy.
On Tuesday.
I will bring it to your office,
Okay?
Right Honorable
and
Speaker.
And then I'll be able to rule.
Exactly.
On whether you are in order or...
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. Then, lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, is as a country, we are concerned about the wasteful expenditure, especially in the State House. Right Honorable Speaker, there are duplication of roles in the State House. We have ministries, departments, and agencies, but you find units in the State House which are doing the same job as the ministers are doing. So we are allocating a lot of funds to facilitate these units, yet we have able ministers here which can do the work. And actually, you find ministers when they are constrained. These units are very powerful than even our ministers. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the supplementary budgets which goes to State House. You see, this financial year, we have allocated, the Parliament has allocated, it allocated 400 plus billion. But in January and March, they brought in supplementary budgets, which amounts to six. Let me wrap up with Right Honorable Speaker. Yes, the Parliament approved it, and it.
So, honorable colleagues, you see, our rules do to come here, and we disagree with the decisions we made as a House in the same session. Those are our rules. So now, if what State House brings here is a proposal, okay? The moment we approve it, you don't blame State House. We own it. Honorable Minister.
Presidential Affairs that oversees a very, very huge sector with so many MDAs for burning midnight candles and ensuring that this report is ready. I also thank the authors of the minority report. And Right Honorable Speaker, may I respond to the issues raised as follows. Issue number one is on the office or offices of the resident district commissioners, their facilitation, their qualification, issues of offices. Honorable members, as long as Article 203 of our national constitution that mandates the president to appoint resident district commissioners is part of our legal framework. As long as Section 72(1) of the Local Government Act that mandates His Excellency the President to appoint deputy resident district commissioners and assistant resident district commissioners are still part of our legal framework. The hands of the appointing authority, in principle by law, is tied to appoint RDCs, deputies, and assistants, because he or she is compelled both by the Constitution and the Local Government Act. The qualification for a resident district commissioner is any Ugandan qualified to be a member of parliament. This is Article 203, Sub-Article 2 of our Constitution. Yes. Whereas under Section 72(1), the qualification for a deputy resident district commissioner and assistant are not prescribed in that provision. So whatever is not prohibited is allowed. That is the principle of law. Innovation Fund. Do we have a framework? Do we have a policy? Do we have guidelines? Yes. In 2019, Cabinet of Uganda adopted the National Research and Innovation Program. This was approved as a framework for guiding Ugandans to access the Innovation Fund, which is currently under the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, the former Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. So that framework exists and it is currently under review. We may not call it a policy, but there is a framework approved by Cabinet in 2019. There were concerns raised under Uganda AIDS Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, Government of Uganda has made commitment to fund critical aspects of what we have been receiving under the US aid. A case in point is funding the HIV and AIDS drugs. And also I want to clarify that Uganda AIDS Commission is not an implementer. The mandate of Uganda AIDS Commission is to coordinate multi-sectoral HIV/AIDS response in Uganda with emphasis to HIV prevention. So all we are talking about, ARVs, that will be handled under the Ministry of Health. On the presidential skilling hubs, honorable colleagues, every journey starts with step number 1. It should be appreciated that His Excellency the President has established 19 presidential skilling centers in the 19 sub-regions of Uganda. That is journey number 1. In all those, young people are recruited, although the number may not be significant as it ought to be or as we wish it to be, but at least we can appreciate that young people are recruited through the district local government in each and every sub-region. There are calls for widening to handle motor vehicle mechanics, plumbing, electricals, but as of now, what is being offered in the presidential hubs are trainings in welding, carpentry, tailoring, shoemaking, bakery, block laying and concrete practice, and hairdressing. What has been done is that all the young people trained in our different sub-regions from each and every district, city, and municipality, as we speak, State House is forming circles. And these young people will be supported through the budget we are providing to State House. So that one, I can give you that assurance. There is also consideration for the future because currently, subject to availability of funds, these young people are trained and they are not equipped. They are not equipped, so in future, funding allowing, State House would want to fund them. But I think in principle, the issue of the circle is to enable them get money from their circle and buy your equipment and you pay back to that circle. State House will not be getting that money. That money will remain at the district as a circle for the trained youth. On the issue of presidential pledges, honorable colleagues, presidential pledges are in two fronts. There are pledges that fall under the different programs. The president will come to Alepton, they will say we don't have a district hospital. He will say, okay. We have heard our policy is to have a district hospital per district. We don't have seed schools in the newly established sub-counties. Okay? Now, when that is done, these are programs that are supposed to be implemented by the respective mother ministries. That is one. The second front is what we are calling person to holder. A bishop is being consecrated, and you have seen it is now a norm that when a bishop is being consecrated, His Excellency the President provides transport to that bishop. That one is person to holder. But those that fall under programs, the handlers of the President are supposed to extract that commitment of the President. If it is about school, they write to Ministry of Education and Sports. If it is about a bridge, Ministry of Works and Transport, that should be the practice. But you see now when the President comes, because we will not stop Ugandans because they see him as the highest authority. When they come, they want to pour all their problems. Even members of parliament, when we see a president, but also when your Wananchi sees you, they know now the Alpha and Omega has arrived. They will pour all their societal problems to you. The youth conference, Right Honorable Speaker, you and myself are products of Afro-Arab, especially, and yes, when Uganda hosted the Afro-Arab Youth Conference, when the late President Gaddafi was still alive, all of us were youth leaders, myself and the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. We both attended at Munyonyo. I still remember how that big giant arrived with his, how we used to move. I still remember. So if a commitment was made on a Afro-Arab Youth Conference, first of all, Uganda accepted. There exists now an office of Afro-Arab Youth Council in Uganda. If there was any commitment made, honorable colleagues, that commitment was made at the highest level. It shall be fulfilled. And if there is no funds provided for, I believe that funds will still be provided for, whether through a supplementary, and it will come through this parliament. If that commitment is made, there is no cause for alarm. On the National Leadership Institute, Chamkwanzi is not NRM Leadership Institute. We call it Nali Chamkwanzi. And Nali is an abbreviation that stands for the National Leadership Institute. That means it is meant for all Ugandans. Again, when we were student leaders under UNSA, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker is here, we were cohorts of 1998-99, during the time of Major Kakoza Mutale. That was the time, for me, I went to Chamkwanzi in 1998, and we met with the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. We were still young student leaders. And over the years...
Very vibrant.
Very, very vibrant, under Uganda National Students Association. I was NRM.
FDC was not
He was
there.
also NRM. There was no FDC.
We
We were all subscribing to the ruling government at that point in time. So when political parties came, somehow he dashed the other side. I remained here, but you can see, after testing the waters on the other side, he has come. So I invite you friends on the other side that please join the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker where he has come. So, if the National Unity Platform, Forum for Democratic Change, would want to access and use that facility, I do not think. Please make the best use of the offices here. The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker is here. I am here. The Right Honorable Speaker is there. You can have your training and you will benefit.
In the philosophy of other political parties, their party heads are their presidents. And they refer to them as His Excellency, they refer to their offices as State House, etc. When they come to Nali, this clarification will help us as the opposition. When we come to Nali, or when any party goes to Nali, will you allow us, or them, to conduct their business and affairs without interference, allowing us and them to recognize their leaders as their excellencies while at Nali, and allowing them to also do parades like they did in Kavule, which brought pandemonium in Nali uninterrupted. I beg for clarification. Thank you.
A public university, an international airport, a mountainous roads or tourism roads, revamping our industries, water for production, safe, clean drinking water. You know, a lot of those things, amazingly. In 2019, Mr. Speaker, airport, now I want to appreciate government for that. But if I looked at the graph, Mr. Speaker, sir, and placed it on a pie chart, I would say probably 5% of those presidential directives or pledges have been enforced. Mr. Chair, I don't know whether it's late for us to accommodate some of these long-standing presidential pledges that the president has made to the Kasese community, and I really believe to other communities. If, like for instance, we had COVID, Mr. Speaker, you'll remember, the churches at an executive order or presidential order had to shut down, schools shut down, supermarkets, stores, everything literally shut down. If the president, a word of a president can shut down even churches and schools and mosques, why can't we use to have all of these presidential pledges that has made to Kasese, Mr. Speaker? And that's the reason why we as a community will come back to this House with a long list, countless list of presidential pledges. We want that funding. We want those presidential pledges accommodated in this budget. Mr. Speaker, I really want to appreciate you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Of them. But I would like to urge you to have a national lens, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Alex, I'm talking to you. You are engaged elsewhere. Why didn't you have a lens towards the northern part of the Uganda, of this country? A case in point is a district that I represent, Oyam, which is very big. And my RDCs are really suffering because of the big size of the district. And Mr. Speaker, I think the number of the RDCs that we have now is enough. For example, for us, we have 4. 4 can traverse the entire district if they are fully facilitated. 2, Mr. Speaker, I want to add my voice to the youth MP about the Afro-Arab Youth Conference, which our country is about to host next year. And Mr. Speaker, we don't have money, about 5.4 billion. Mr. Speaker, by granting us the opportunity to host this conference is a big confidence that has been bestowed on the country Uganda. And I would like to urge the members of parliament to find space and give this money, only 5.4 billion, Mr. Speaker, to really support and give a good recommendation to our country. Then, Mr. Speaker, the issue of drainage and management of solid waste has been mentioned, and that is 78 million. I get worried, Mr. Speaker, because the issue of waste, solid waste, and flooding in this country is a very serious issue that if a budget can come before this parliament and there is no money, if there is something again that we can look for money to find and put in is the issue of solid waste and the issue of floods in this country.
With the existence of RDCs and their number, if it is warranted, and their facilitation to execute their duties, my only issue is with regard to value for money. My own observation has been that the appointment of RDCs is rather indiscriminate. We have, I don't know what the minimum qualifications of an RDC, deputy RDC or assistant RDC should be. But a case in point, Ginger, for example, has got an assistant RDC who does not even have PLE, who does not even have P7 qualifications, and is marauding as a representative of the president who has zero regard for the order of precedence.
No, representing those who are not educated.
When you get to events where he has the courage and audacity to intimidate everyone there. I am the representative of the president, and he demands that he submits last because he's representing the president without a P7 qualification. Now, so if we are advocating for enhancing their rewards and emoluments and harnessing a better working environment, what is the value for money? What are Ugandans receiving in return? And what training are these assistant RDCs receiving in order to ensure that we benefit as Ugandans? Because they might do mobilization work for the party in power, but they are not RDCs for a party. These are RDCs for everybody, and everyone should benefit across board. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman.
We need offices and residences because sometimes we need them at night. You find them hauled in small houses and different gates that you cannot get them. On the issue of recruitment of the assistant RDCs, members, they are doing great job, great work. The only problem is recruiting people who are not professional enough and then not facilitating them to do what you want them to do. Because these people have no transport, they don't have even motorcycles, they don't have facilitation. And then they end up doing what is not expected. Then on the issue of skilling hubs in the sub-regions, members, let us agree that the money that is invested in building does not relate to what we are getting. Because members, you find...
Honorable Speaker and our honorable colleagues, I just want to say, Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable colleagues, everybody present here, that if words of man can stand by words of appreciation, I therefore want to use a huge, big word called thank you for having showed wonderful interest in this sector. I want to thank everybody who made contributions to our report and enriched it further. We didn't want to put in very complicated words, semantics of the English language, like my honorable colleague minister, my honorable shadow minister wanted me to do. But otherwise, we were all very clear from the word go that all was going to be well. And I therefore want to